Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly pop culture wrap-up, New York Comic Con edition. That's right, everybody. Welcome to the weekly pop culture wrap-up. It's the show where I go over the week's pop culture news, mostly comic books and movies, and this weekend, New York Comic Con. Lots of exciting announcements, probably even some more announcements coming today that we may cover in tonight's live stream. Robbie Rants live tonight, 7 o'clock Central Time. Be sure to be there. But let's get right into it with some exciting comic book news. Wonder Comics. It has been announced. We knew that Brian Michael Bendis was going to have a pop-up imprint, that he was going to curate some titles over at DC ever since he signed on to DC Comics. Now we know what it is. It's Wonder Comics with some really exciting lineups. We got a Young Justice book. That's by Brian Michael Bendis and Patrick Gleason. Wonder Twins by Mark Russell of Flintstones and the Snagglepuss Chronicles fame. We'll be doing that one with artwork by Stephen Byrne. Naomi, which is a new original character, will be done by Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker with artwork by Jamal Campbell. And Dial H for Hero, a cult classic fan favorite type book by Sam Humphries and Joe Quinones. Really excited about these books. I think Russell and Wonder Twins, anybody else, and I wouldn't really be that interested. It makes me definitely interested. Some of the artwork I've seen looks really, really cool. I am most excited for the Young Justice announcement. I was a huge fan, first of all, of Tim Drake and Connor Kent. Loved Superboy back in the day. Loved Tim Drake Robin. Loved that book back in the day by Peter David. It was fantastic stuff. If you've never read it, you really, really should. I'll throw a link down below so you can get the graphic novels by Peter David. It was great. Impulse, Robin, and Superboy, and then a whole cast of others that eventually joined the title. Amazing stuff. Super excited for this title to come back. It's going to have a couple new characters. There's going to be Teen Lantern. It's going to be a young lady from Bolivia who figures out how to hack into the Green Lantern power battery. I think that's kind of cool. And then there's going to be another character, Jenny West, who is going to be a descendant of Jonah Hex, or Jenny Hex, not Jenny West. That doesn't make any kind of sense. Anyway, super excited about Young Justice. It was one of my favorite books back in the day. I still think the run really holds up well. Very excited to see the return of some of these characters, especially Connor Kent, especially seeing Superboy in the jacket, with the hair, with the attitude. Bendis made me very, very excited with that. Marvel has officially announced War of the Realms. We knew it was coming. Jason Aaron over at Thor has been building up for this for like 4 years. But now we know that it's coming. It's going to be its own big Marvel event, not just a Thor story, but a big cosmic, crazy, savage swords and sorcery, gods everywhere, big battle, epic royale. War of the Realms. It's going to have artwork by Russell Dodderman and coloring by Matt Wilson. That's fantastic. They worked with Aaron on The Mighty Thor, which is basically Act 2 of everything that's building up to War of the Realms. Very excited for this. We knew it was coming, but now we got it officially. Captain Marvel #1 in January. Right now they're doing Life of Captain Marvel, but we got a brand new Captain Marvel #1 written by Kelly Thompson, one of my favorite writers at Marvel right now. So excited for her. So excited for this book. I've been saying that they need top-tier talent on Captain Marvel, and I think they have nailed it with Kelly Thompson for sure. Artwork is going to be done by Carmen Carnero, and she has just signed exclusive to Marvel, so we'll be seeing a lot from her. A new Spider-Man book, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, a book that before had been done by Peter David, speaking of Peter David, but Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man by writer Tom Taylor with artwork by Juan Cabal. I'm pretty excited for this, I guess. Tom Taylor does a really, really good job on the characters that he works with. It'd be cool to see a different kind of take on Spider-Man, a more like down-to-earth type thing, something like that. But ultimately, another Spider-Man title. I think the one that's coming out twice a month is good enough for right now. But, you know, I don't know. It's going to be very exciting to see Tom Taylor do that book. So that's kind of cool. The Invaders, another try and attempt at an Invaders comic book by Marvel, starts in January, written by Chip Zdarsky with artwork by Carlos Magno. It's kind of a cool idea, you know, the Invaders. It just never feels like the books ever really work out. They don't really quite have the strength behind them they should. But of course, if you didn't know, the Invaders are the old school World War II era team with Captain America and Bucky and the Human Torch and Toro and Submariner. So, kind of cool. Chip Zdarsky has really shown, especially over at Marvel 2-in-1 and on Spectacular Spider-Man, that he's got a great handle on taking Marvel's classic past and kind of refreshing it and making it relevant even today in the modern day stories and settings. So it will be cool to see Zdarsky take on those characters. Marvel Action, which is a publication by IDW and Marvel, which is going to be all ages. kid-friendly Marvel books. We already knew this one was coming, but they just announced they're doing a Black Panther book. I think that's really cool because they got Kyle Baker and Vita Ayala doing some of the work, contributing some of the writing to that. So I think that's really, really nifty. Some top-tier talents doing basically an all-ages Marvel Black Panther book, and I think that's awesome. Avengers No Road Home. It's going to be a weekly Avengers series that is a sequel to earlier this year's a weekly Avengers series, No Surrender. So direct sequel to No Surrender. So you got Mark Waid, Jim Zub, and Al Ewing back as writers. So that's going to be kind of cool. It's a little a weekly again, but whatever. I mean, No Surrender was actually pretty fun, pretty cool. So I guess it's going to be neat to see what happens in the sequel. I'll check it out. Savage Sword of Conan. We knew that Marvel was doing Conan the Barbarian with Jason Aaron. We knew that they had 2 more coming, Age of Conan and Savage Sword of Conan. We now know that that's coming in February with Gary Duggan on the writing and Ron Garney doing the penciling. I think Ron Garney on the artwork on a Conan book sounds fantastic. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Conan fans should be happy. There is an X-Men panel today. There may be a crazy announcement. There's a lot of speculation right now that Jonathan Hickman's going to take over the X-Men books, like after this whole Disassembled story, something like that. Maybe Disassembled's kind of making way for him. Just rumors right now. Bleeding Cool reported there was Bendis went and met up with some of his old Marvel family at New York Comic-Con. They took a picture. Jonathan Hickman was there. Maybe he's just there because they're all hanging out, right? Maybe we're reading too much into it. It just seems like there's a lack of Jonathan Hickman in the industry right now, and I really feel like a lot of people think that it's going to be X-Men. You know, we all thought it was going to be something over at DC, but maybe Marvel has lured him back with X-Men. I don't know. Lots of speculation. Of course, we had this thing on the back of that Marvel thing this week, that little Marvel preview. Apparently, this Age of X-Men thing may be its own separate title, something like that spins out of it. I don't know. But there is an X-Men panel today, and we shall see if there's some news, but there may not be. There may not be any big news. Maybe there will be. I don't know. If so, definitely we'll be talking about it tonight on the live stream from DC Comics. We already talked about Wonder Comics. Let's talk about Flash Year 1. Very excited for this. Joshua Williamson, Howard Porter, they've been doing great work on the Flash already this year and in the previous years from Williamson. He's been writing it since Rebirth started. So I'm excited to see him tackle this story. We've never really had a definitive Flash Year 1. We've had some retcons, we've had some revisionings, we've had Flash Rebirth and things like that, but I think a good solid Flash Year 1 is something needed. It could be something really, really cool, entry level for Flash. I think Williamson and Porter are the team to do it. Very excited for this. Apparently, Williamson has been wanting to tell this story for a while, and if anybody deserves a Year 1 story, it's going to be Flash, in my opinion. I think Barry's great. 3 Jokers. Jeff Johns, this whole thing, revealed a bunch of covers for upcoming issues of Doomsday Clock, some Shazam stuff, things like that. I'm most excited about some of the 3 Jokers stuff. Some of the images have been here, and so the 3 Jokers are confirmed which iterations of the character they are. It is the Brian Bowling Killing Joke Joker, the one that paralyzed Batgirl when he shot her when he was coming after Gordon. It's going to be the 60s classic Joker, which is going to be the one apparently that killed Jason Todd in the Death in the Family story, and the original original first appearance Joker, which who knows when was the last time we saw him in the comics. But I'm kind of very intrigued by this idea. I did a Jokers, I have a 3 Jokers theory that they kind of just keep surviving through each crisis event. Maybe something like that could still be in play if you really think about it. Honestly, maybe. The first Joker was the first Joker. Then after Crisis on Infinite Earths, you could say that you had the 60s Joker kind of, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense. We'll see. But I'm very intrigued by this. The artwork looks cool. Some of the redesigns here for Batman and Batgirl and Red Hood look really, really cool. Very excited for that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We know the creative team now on that book that's moving over to Boom. Going to be set in the high school years of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Written by Jordie Bellaire with artwork by Dan Mora. Super exciting. Super exciting. Jordie Bellaire, a wonderful talent already in this industry. She's making some waves right now with a book she's writing called Redlands, but she's also just a beautiful, brilliant colorist. Like, her work is fantastic. I love it so much. Dan Moore's pencils over at Go-Go Power Rangers on Klaus before that. Fantastic stuff. Very excited to see a top-notch team tackling a Buffy the Vampire Slayer comic book. Let's move over to some movies and TV news. The Aquaman trailer, the big 5-minute extended cut Aquaman trailer. Man, it showed so much of the movie, but I'm glad it did because I am so pumped, so jazzed, so jammed up for this movie. I think it's going to be badass. Absolutely. So stoked for this movie. Black Manta looks awesome. I thought the CG looked fine. I thought it looked great. The story just seems like it's going to be fun. That shot where they pan through mirror, just chasing across those rooftops, man, that thing was so legit, so cool. And they made that classic Aquaman costume with the orange, chainmail and the yellow pants and the fins. They made it look so cool on Jason Momoa. I'm so sold on this movie. I'm just pumped. Let's check it out. I'm excited to see it. The Daredevil Season 3 trailer. We're getting Daredevil Season 3 very, very soon. It's going to be this month. That trailer was like the most fire thing I've seen from New York Comic Con. Absolutely. Like, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin has been amazing already in the little bit he was in Season 2 and, of course, in Season 1. But this looks like it's going to be levels above. It looks so intense, so deep, so rich, so dark. And Bullseye. That's right. The imitation Daredevil from the trailer has been confirmed. That is Bullseye. We already knew that, right? You could just tell. Man, so excited for Daredevil Season 3. Just super, super excited. There was a Good Omens trailer. It's going to be based on the Neil Gaiman book. Really excited. Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett. It's going to be very, very exciting. Looks really, really fun, really nifty. There's also a Deadly Class trailer. That looked really neat based on the Rick Remender and Wes Craig book. I'm a big fan of that book and, of course, the Good Omens book. So both of those are very, very exciting for me. There was Hellboy footage shown at Comic-Con, but at New York Comic-Con, but they didn't reveal it to the public. But apparently just a bunch of snaps. Apparently it looks cool. It looks like it's going to be funny. It's going to focus more on monsters, be more horror-driven, things like that. So that's very cool. We have seen that little poster right there, though, and that's just legendary. It's awesome. It's super, super cool. Rumors are swirling around right now. Reports are in that Marvel has commissioned a Dark Avengers script. It's got everybody kind of thinking what's going to be happening in Phase 4 and onward. Dark Avengers, it seems weird. A lot of those characters haven't been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, they could do completely their own thing. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's just an interesting concept to see what would happen, what they would try to do, but we literally know nothing yet. We don't even know if this is true. Jon Favreau's been working on a Star Wars TV series. We've been talking about it. We now know it's going to be called The Mandalorian. It's going to be about a Mandalorian after Jango Fett, after Boba Fett, set before the First Order and the New Resistance and all that stuff. So it's going to be post Return of the Jedi set and things like that. It's going to involve a Mandalorian. It looks really, really cool. The image has been revealed right there. And finally, let's talk real quick about Netflix acquiring the rights to the Narnia books. I'm a huge fan of C.S. Lewis's work with the Chronicles of Narnia. I love that book series so much. I think every adaptation has kind of tried their best but failed in every kind of way most times. But I am really, really excited for this. I think Netflix could really do it. They expand out this world. They talk about how they want to do movies and a TV series. That's really cool because there's so much there, even though they're very 7 simple children's books. Way simpler compared to something like Lord of the Rings or something like that. But there's so much richness there, so much mythology. I'm really, really excited to see what they do and what they do first and how they do it. That last movie, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, that's like my favorite novel. And that was like the worst. You know, I like the BBC ones a little bit with the puppets. I mean, I don't think any of the Narnia stuff is great. That first Narnia, you know, Prince Caspian and Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the ones that Disney made, those were pretty decent, I guess. I mean, but anyway, I'm excited for someone to give it another go. Anyway, that's what we got for you this week. Like I said, probably even more news coming out. Some other things I didn't check out. I didn't check out that Boys trailer yet. Wasn't really a big fan of the Boys comic book, but I'm probably going to definitely be checking that out. But I want to know what you were most excited for from the news this weekend at New York Comic Con. Let me know in the comments down below. And upcoming here at PCP, tonight we got Robbie Rants live at 7 o'clock Central. So be here. Any more news that gets revealed today, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about this upcoming week's comic books, all that and more. So join us tonight, tomorrow, Movie Monday. Our Venom review is going to hit. Me, Brooks, Jelani, what do we think of Venom? You'll find out tomorrow morning. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us and watching this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And check us out at patreon.com/PCP where you can unlock exclusive content like an upcoming video where me, Brooks, and Jelani show off a bunch of our Venom action figures. And it was really, really fun. So thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Keep on reading, keep on living, keep on watching, keep on thumbs up and liking, sharing, and all that jazz. Thank you guys so much.